This week, we'll be going over all of the achievements in Fran Bow. This indie horror game is going to kick off our spooky month, where we cover all of the achievements in horror games throughout the month of October. It has 18 achievements and only takes a little bit over 12 hours to complete, on average. Now, let's get to hunting. We won't be doing a full walkthrough of every puzzle in the game, but if that's something you guys want, let me know down in the comments. We will, however, be going through the achievements in the game and how each can be obtained. There will be some spoilers just by the nature of achievements in the game, so if you don't want spoilers, you'll need to go play the game on your own and then come back here. In the first chapter, the first achievement you'll be able to get is Sleeping Princess for making the guard fall asleep. In order to do this, you're going to need to progress through the asylum until you reach the room with a table of food and drinks. Click on the cinnamon buns to grab one of those, then move to the left of the room from there to see Annie, who's then going to be walking over to that right room with the food on the table. Go back over to speak to her and avoid any options that would end the conversation. Then she'll give you a sleeping pill. Combine those two items and we'll have the magical sleeping cake needed to make the guard fall asleep. Go back over to the guard desk, and if it doesn't let you use the cake on his desk or him, then you'll need to use the grab-o-matic to try to grab the key. The guard will take it, and then you can use the cake on him. When the dialogue with the cake starts, you're going to want to make sure to pick the choices: a cake, eat it, you'll regret it, and then fresh from the oven. Somehow, don't know how, that convinces him to eat it, and then he'll fall asleep and allow you to get the key and the achievement. Proceed through the rest of the first chapter, and then we can get I Found My Way Out for completing that maze minigame at the end. You get the option to skip it, but you'll need to make sure that you complete it for this achievement to pop. Your goal is to make it to the end of the maze without being caught by any of the ghosts. They do have set paths that they repeat, so it's not too hard to do, and just know that your general path is going to be to go up, over to the right, and then all the way over to the left to find the exit. The exit point is going to be in that top left corner, but you do have to kind of work up over to the right and then back over to the left in order to get there, because they have the direct paths to get there kind of blocked off. In Chapter 2, the first achievement won't be until after you're in the twins' house. It Tasted Fabulous is for eating a cupcake. In the second room, you'll find a table with plenty of sweet treats. Click on the cupcakes a few times and you'll end up taking one to eat, and the achievement will pop. While going through trying to do the ritual, you'll make some trips over to the Ultraverse into a well. For I Burn You, you'll need to come here after grabbing the board. Then come up to the rope, and rather than just cutting it like you may be naturally drawn to do, you're gonna need to use your matches to burn the rope. Next we can get Hello Dolly for finding the doll in the attic. After you've done the ritual and can head back up to the attic to free Mr. Midnight, you're going to want to take a look at the stroller. You'll find the thing that was there before has been replaced by a doll. Then after more puzzles to unlock a couple of locks, you're going to get Reunite with Mr. Midnight for freeing him. This is strictly story related, so you can't miss it. A lot of these achievements are, but this one doesn't have anything crazy to do or anything that would make it missable. Now, the last achievement for this chapter is Toad on Board for completing the minigame that acts as the bridge to the next chapter. Again, you get an option to skip it, but you have to actually complete it for the achievement to pop. And this is basically just a really simple version of Frogger, but Frogger's already simple, so just play it. That's all you gotta do. Once in Chapter 3, you have a little bit of time before you'll be able to get the first achievement here. Faster Than a Snail is for defeating the snail 5 times in the tic-tac-toe minigame. He'll be all the way to the left in the shopping area. Just sit with him to play tic-tac-toe, beat him 5 times, and you'll get the achievement. Next will be Dr. Love for reuniting the divorced couple. You're going to be able to start this once you talk to Kotram the Mountain. He'll talk about his ex-wife that used to sit on his head and that she went to her own island. Go down to the foot of the mountain where the bar is, switch to fall, and you'll see a red flower. Grab that and then head over to the left, but not down and to the left, but go up and to the left. You'll see a rowboat that you can jump on and ride as long as it's summer. Go out to the island that has turned into the top of a mountain and give it a flower. That's going to convince the ex-wife to return to her husband, and then you can go meet them at the top of the mountain to get this achievement. A bit later on, we're going to need to go get dancing shoes for the wizard. While doing this, we can get the kind thief for returning the pink ticket to the wasp. You'll have to go to the back of the bar and send Mr. Midnight through a hole in the back. He can then go get the pink ticket from the drunk wasp on the right side of the room and bring it out to Fran. Fran can then use that to start a series of events to eventually get into the bar. Then once inside, just give the ticket back to the wasp for the achievement. Now at the end of the chapter, once you do the minigame that acts as a transition between chapters, you'll get a troll run for beating the troll minigame. Just like the other minigames, you'll want to make sure that you actually complete it for the achievement rather than skipping it. Moving on to chapter 4, we have a few things to do before we'll actually be on Itward ship and can start getting them. But once there, you can get Oops, We Crashed the Game, which is for crashing the little video game on the ship. So in the first starting room, we have a computer up near the front. It's basically Space Invaders, but you'll need to win 3 rounds and then click on the winner screen to start the boss fight. Beat that and you'll get the achievement for crashing the game. But you know, the game within the game, not your actual game. Do not crash Fran Bow. That is not what you want to do. And then as you go into the engine room to get the fuel running correctly, we can get check for checking off the AFM part on the checklist on the wall. You may not be able to actually do this until after you've dropped some of the berries into the correct beaker, but then just go to that little checklist, mark it off with your green crown, and there you go. A bit later on, Itward will lead you to a previously locked room with a rabbit and lock you in there. Then we can get feeding the robot rabbit for giving the robot rabbit 3 carrots. You'll have to be in the Ultraverse for this, and then you can pick up the carrots from the bottom left of the room and give them to the big metal robot rabbit. After the 3rd one's eaten, the achievement will pop. You'll then have quite a bit happen before the next achievement, but fast forward a bit, and once you're driven to the graveyard, you'll be taken to your family's grave, and memorial is for lighting the candles that are on the graves of your parents. Just take your matches and you can light them. Nothing too complicated here. This chapter is pretty long with plenty of puzzles to complete. None of them are tied to achievements though, so until you get to the very end of the game, you're not going to get anything. Then we can get This is Electroman for electrocuting the doctor 3 times. You'll eventually reach a room where Dr. Deern is tied to an electric chair, and then you'll need to pull the lever on the wall until you shock him 3 times for this achievement. Then in that same room, we can get The Old Story for finding a picture of an old story that we've gotten pieces of throughout the game. You'll need to click on the door to close it, and this picture will be sitting right behind it. Just pick it up and you'll get the achievement. Now for the last achievement, we can pick up the syringe from the table and inject Dr. Deern with it to wake him up. This will trigger the last set of cutscenes for the game and get us the end for finishing the game. And with that, we have 100% of the achievements in Fran Bow. Now I have made a lot of 100% guides for horror games, so go check out this playlist right over here for more horror games to complete.